Hi guys, welcome. So those who are new, we do these calls every Monday and Thursday. Now, typically these calls are anywhere between 8 to 9 p.m. Eastern. So please make sure that you are being updated. You guys can check the events tab in the asset recovery community. And for those that are joining from the free Facebook group, welcome. Every now and then we do some free trainings. On Mondays, we do our live Q&As, and then on Thursdays, we do our specific lessons. But today, we're actually talking about skip tracing. And you guys know I'm always looking to provide updated information, updated tools and resources that we can use in this industry that can benefit us, especially when I see something that's working for my business. I always want to share it to you guys as fast as I can so that you guys can have success as well. Now, today we're going to be talking about a company called Skipify. All right. We have their representative Saad, who's on the call, and some of their other members as well that'll be breaking it down. Skipify, I believe, has everything that we've been looking for the surplus funds business. So we're going to talk about their key points that make them one of the best skip tracing providers out there. Very good price, DNC lookup. They give us a lot of pre-foreclosure information for this industry as well, easy, accessible data. We have property search on their map. It's just a lot of value with this company. But before we bring them on the call, I do want to quickly run through skip tracing in this business. So I'm going to share my screen and we're going to discuss how and why we should be skip tracing, and how you guys can do this the most effective route when you're pursuing surplus funds. So we know for starters, if we're looking to find a surplus opportunity, we are initially looking for a property that has sold for a higher amount. All right. So whether it's a tax sale or a mortgage foreclosure, we're looking for a property that is sold to a third party bidder for more than what is owed. Sometimes what's owed can be taxes. It could also be mortgages. In some scenarios, it could even be HOAs that cause a foreclosure. But regardless, our formula is pretty much the same. We're looking for properties that sell for a higher amount. Now, when properties do sell for a higher amount, now our next step is to identify who that owner was prior to the sale. And then we want to perform our research. We want to figure out what's their mailing address so that we can send them mailers. We want to figure out what's their phone number so that we can call them, text them, send voicemail drop. We also want to figure out who their relatives are because if we can't get a hold of the client, a part of our business is we have to do some research, investigating, and we do have to reach out to friends and relatives. All right. So if we're using Property Radar or we're using a county's website, we know that we can initially identify the sales results. We're going to identify properties in which it is sold for a higher amount. So last week, this property here sold for 19,600. They owe 2,300. All right, so that's a $17,000 surplus. All right, but initially looking at this, we don't know who the owner is and we do not know their phone number. All right, so with Skipify, we can kind of skip some steps. Initially I teach you guys, hey, if you want to do your research first, we need to figure out who the owner of the property is. So we would have to go to the property appraiser site or the property assessor site. Well, with Skipify, we can simply just take the address, plug it in, boom, they'll just go ahead and get started. So if you guys are working those counties that I say leave us breadcrumbs, they might give you an APN or they might give you an address, and then you have to go do all the other steps. Skipify is going to simplify things and make it a lot easier for you. All right. So now that we have a pretty clear understanding on how this business works, we're looking for properties that sell for a higher amount. Then we need to identify who the owner is. Now let's go ahead and introduce Saad and Skipify so we can talk about why their platform should be the platform that you guys utilize. So, Saad, I went ahead and enabled it so that You can share your screen if you want to go ahead and introduce yourself to everybody.
Yeah, hey everyone. Nice meeting everyone here. Saad Yusuf with Skipify. Thank you, Eric,
Well,
for the kind words and nice introduction. I have my colleagues here, Ryan Dunn and Dan Loris as well too. They're both partners in the company as well too, and they're here to answer any questions you may have after I'm done my demo. But yes, Eric is exactly right. Where we provide you the most up-to-date ownership information of any property, in the States, and we want to kind of show you how to kind of get to that spot in the first place. So I'm going to share my window here. It's my browser window. And this here is the Skipify website right here. And let me just, before I log in, what I'm going to do is kind of go over the basics of how to sign up and everything, and just to make sure that, the website is called skipify.ai, www.skipify.ai. It's an AI powered skip tracing software for real estate professionals. Basically, we leverage AI and different vendors and different bots to go around the internet and crawl for the latest and up-to-date information regarding all the properties that you would need access to. So that's why we consider ourselves an AI company that specializes in real estate. Um, if you want to sign up for a plan, we have very reasonable plans here as well too. Starting with a free account, you skip trace for 15 cents per record. Very simple. You just go in, type the address you want, upload the address you want. It asks you, hey, it might cost you this many dollars based on the amount of records you're requesting. You go, you add the records to your account, and you pay as you go. We have other plans if you want to have a cheaper, per hit, kind of cost. We have other plans that meet everyone else's needs. We'll have, the basic light plan, which may be 750 skip traces for $100, $99 a month, and goes on. The higher the plans go, the cheaper they get, obviously. But I'm thinking, we want to start off in the free or the light plan just to get our feet wet and see how things are going. So I'm going to log into the website right now. You can always create an account, when you're ready. You enter your name, it'll confirm your email with you, and once you select your username and password, you'll be able to log in. But I'm already logged in here on this tab here, so just for ease of use purposes, I wanted to demo this to you. So the main pages you have is you have a property search here. The property search is all-encompassing tool. So you can put an address in, you can search by county, you can search by zip code. Okay, so really easy. If I want to do a quick filter, so I want to put an address in here right now. Eric, do you have that address that you gave me earlier, or a similar address you want to explore as for my demo purposes?
Yep, yeah, I can send you one over right now. All right, I just put that in the group chat.
2801. All right. So Eric just gave me this address for skip tracing purposes. I'm gonna pull it up. So I just paste it in here. And there we go. It's powered by Google Maps. Okay, found the record. You saw how fast I found it, right? Right there. So real simple. You can hit the plus sign to learn more about the property. This is the available data, last sale date. This is general information you can get without using any credits here. But however, if you want to get the information that you need, you hit the skip trace button. Before I hit that though, I want to show you the filters we have. We have a lot of predefined filters here. We have, you know what, Ryan, can you go over these filters real fast and kind of explain what they do and how they're being used? You're much better at the real estate professional, so you would know better how to explain these.
yeah. So for your guys' purpose, you're going to be in kind of the property characteristics or the pre-foreclosure and propensity list. So if you want to click the pre-foreclosure and propensity section there, right there we have pre-foreclosure status. Eric is going to kind of dive into what'll make the most sense for you guys to use in those filters right there. We also have the propensity list, so it's actually before you can kind of market to properties before they are going to go into pre-foreclosure. So these are people that have missed their payments, have tax liens, things like that. So I'm not sure how that'll kind of Eric will kind of work that into the program. And then on top of that, we also have tax delinquent properties. So, Saad, if you want to go to ownership information right there, you can click, tax delinquent, yes. And the cool thing is you can go to the top of the screen and you could actually search by county, city, or zip code, and do a bulk skip trace and market to all those people as well. So those are the main filters you guys would be using. The other filters are more or less for real estate investors. So,
All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip trace this one record here. So one record here. Skipify. And oh, one. And right here is the demographic filter. So this is where if you have a larger list, right? One property, you might not need this, but if you want to filter the ages of your owners, if you're targeting a certain demographic, older seniors, younger property owners, you can filter by age. But I think what's more pertinent to your cause is you want to have the relatives information. So if you can't get a hold of the property owner, you want to know who's related to that person and get their contact information as well too. So you click this checkbox right here, get the information for relatives. And also, if you want to scrub it for DNC, you can apply a DNC scrub here well too. If they're on the do not call list, it'll give you a little flag saying this person on the do not call list or not. And all you have to do is hit skip trace, and then it'll give you a link to my data. And since the one record, it was already skip trace pretty fast. So I'm going to download the skip trace here, and I'm going to stop sharing and share my spreadsheet once it opens. Give me a second here. There it is. All right. Let me stop sharing this. And this is the actual property, I believe. And or maybe it is. There it is. Yep. The file name skip by demo 011325. And this is the input parameter that I'll try to make it bigger too. Give me a second here. View. Zoom in here a little bit, 200%, so everyone can see it. There you go. So this is what the input parameters. This is the property data that we put in to get the skip trace. The owner name, mailing address, the APN number, all that stuff is there for your information. And the property mailing address, the property address itself. But then the information that comes from the skip trace itself is you get the owner name, so match first name, match last name, the person's age, are they deceased, are they in the DNC list? Yeah, in this case, they're not. This is the owner's phone number right here. So phone one, and you go up to 5 phone numbers it gives you. I'm starting at phone one. So obviously if this Odessa Spence, obviously if they were not deceased, you could be able to call them and get their mobile number. And phone two, phone three, and phone three is the least likely to be matched because all that multiple phone numbers, up to 10 phone numbers, but we usually provide 5. You have their email address as well too. So these are email addresses associated with this person. So they may have had a AOL address in the past, a Hotmail address. We have that as well. And then we also have, the confirmed mailing address, and then it gets in the relatives. So this is the relative one name, it's the person, John Spence, most likely a spouse, and that's their age, and that's the person's phone number. And we have multiple relatives available if they're available. So relative to Melissa Mollett, and it goes on and on and on to multiple relatives, and it gives you all the information that you need. So using this information, you can contact the person in multiple ways: email, phone, text. Those are all enabled through this data right here, and all the information is available for you also as well on your My Data profile, so you can use it anytime you need it. You can have the property data as well too. So if you want information about the property itself, you can download that as well too, so you can tell. Zoom in a little bit. So we have all this property information as well too. Let me skip the common fields. So yeah, you market total value, assessed total, the tax delinquent year, the lot square footage, all the information is available as well to you. A lot of property characteristics, last sale date, last sale price, in the property sheet too. So when you skip trace a file, you get two files along with it. You get the skip trace file, which includes contact information, and you get the property file, which includes property specific data. Um, any questions about the process at all, or of
So actually, before we open the questions, I actually want to share my screen and talk
course?
a little bit more about the value that you guys will get with this platform. So, for those who have been, part of this program for a while, you guys know that previously I pushed Skip Matrix, which is still a great platform. Nothing wrong with Skip Matrix. The reason why I've completely transitioned to Skipify is two reasons. Number one, DNC check. All right. This is very important, guys. Me and Will will be doing a training on the DNC, why it's important, TCPA, staying in compliance. And if you have a skip tracing provider and you're just blindly making these calls or sending them text messages, guess what? You might run across somebody who actually will sue you. They're on the DNC. If you contact them, you're technically in violation. So it's very important to have that sort of information. And if you guys have done some research on your own looking for, skip tracing providers, True People Search is not telling you that. Been Verified is not telling you that. Intellius is not telling you that. Skip Matrix is not telling you that. To be honest, most skip tracing platforms, even Property Radar, when you do the skip trace to see the phone numbers, they're not going to tell you if it's on DNC or not. Majority of them are not looking out for you. All right. So with Skipify, the fact that it has the DNC already built in, this is going to give you peace of mind, knowing that, hey, if I'm messaging somebody, I know beforehand if they are on DNC. Now, it's up to you if you want to message somebody on the DNC or not. We'll be discussing that in the training. But for starters, that is a huge value that they are providing with the DNC check. The second one is the fact that there is no minimum for our skips. So how many of you guys have used a batch skip tracing provider? That's amazing. But then they say, hey, we have a minimum requirement. You're like, wow, where I was just working on this small surplus list. I don't have 100 contacts, 200 contacts, 500 contacts. You can easily jump into Skipify, plug in the address, hit skip trace, and it is spit out within seconds. Within seconds. Like, guys, this is huge. And I'll show us a real-time example. All right, so let's find another tax sale opportunity right here. This property sold for 33,000. They owed 2,000. All right. This one here, same thing. All we have to do is take the address, copy it. We go here to the map, we paste it, boom, pulls right up. And all we have to do is hit skip trace. You can name it whatever you want. We go here, demographic. We're going to include the relatives, the DNC. We hit skip trace. And literally as fast as that, it's available. We have it here. I can go ahead and download the skip trace report and boom, it's automatically available. So imagine how much time you would save with just plugging in addresses and getting that information. Now, keep in mind that we're looking for the prior owner. So if you're working on a new foreclosed property, this is going to give you that previous owner. But if it's something that was foreclosed, let's say maybe 2 months beyond, you're going to have to do that second layer of research first. You want to figure out who the previous owner was, and then you're probably going to upload a spreadsheet. That's the good thing too. You guys can do your bulk skip tracing if you have your research team, and you can go in and get that information. So here, this was owned by a company, and they even provide the information for us, for the company and mailing addresses, relatives, people who are attached to the property. So those two aspects right there alone, having DNC check and the instant skip tracing results with a no minimum threshold is, amazing. And then in terms of the property data, so we would be utilizing the property data on our pre-foreclosures. So when we go to the list and we can download the property or download the skip trace, Skip Trace, of course, is for us to market, but if you download that property detail specifically in a pre-foreclosure scenario, we're going to be able to create more on our list. So they provide to us the assessed value, and you can also see the mortgage. All right, it had a option there for mortgage one, two, if there's a mortgage on the property. So now you guys can use that and say, okay, this property is in a notice of foreclosure state, or it's in a notice of trustee sale. Well, if you download that property list, now we're going to be able to see the ownership information, and then the information specific to surplus funds would be the mortgage, the assessed value, so we can determine, hey, if they owe more than the mortgage, I mean, if the mortgage is lower than what the property's assessed at, this could be a good deal. Also, the tax delinquency filter. We can go in there and just plug in, let's say you want to look up DeKalb County. Boom, you go in tax delinquent. You pull and skip trace that list. Now you have everything spit out to you, phone numbers, mailing addresses, emails. You can start your marketing journey. For those who send mailers, this is amazing because they'll already pull that confirmed mailing address for you. You plug that into whatever mail house you're using, whether it's stamp or handwriting, and boom, you can send this off. So I've seen a increase not only in the data, the accuracy, the DNC check is saving a lot of people, and then also just the speed and deliverability. If we're working with other skip tracing providers, we're waiting 24 to 48 hours. You can just boom, get the results immediately, and the pricing too. So if you guys sign up with the basic plan, which is $0 a month, you can get the skip tracing at 15 cents, which is the same as Skip Matrix, but now we're not tied to a minimum threshold. You guys can do an individual skip, you can do a bulk skip, and you can really, get the value that you need on this platform. All right, so I do see that we have some questions now. Roosevelt, go ahead.
Hey, Eric, thank you for bringing this to our attention. A couple of questions really quick for you and the folks from Skipify. So all included as 15 cents, that includes the DNC, the mailing results, and so forth. Is that correct?
So the base rate for our skip trace is 15 cents for the basic free plan. We considered the DNC and the relatives part of the demographic add-ons. So there'll be 2/10 of a skip charge for each of those add-ons. So let's just say that, if you just want contact information, you're charged, and you buy one skip 15 cents. Let's say you buy 10 skips for 15 cents a piece, and you want to run a normal skip trace of just contact information, you get charged one skip. But if you add the property, if you add the relatives data that you want, that it's a 2/10 of a skip, so you charge 1.2. If you add the DNC, that's a tenth of a skip. It's another 1.3, I would say. So these are small little things because of the additional cost of adding these data points. That might be a
Still
little bit
extremely
charged.
low.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
I don't even
So
think that goes up a whole penny.
No, not at all.
so pretty much if let's say for example, one person you want to have the DNC five relatives, so one skip is what 19 cents with the add-ons?
More or less, that sounds about accurate. Yeah,
Awesome. And then we can access the website at any time with our account.
absolutely, 24/7.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Hey, George, go ahead.
A couple of questions. Can you explain? So I'm just looking like it as an example at the basic plan. When it talks about 750 included skip traces, but 2,500 include property records. I don't understand sort of like, I mean, I don't understand how it's basically two different things. So how does that exactly work? So in other words, we can enter 2,500 property records.
So yeah, that's correct. So basically, for $99, you get 750 skip traces. So if you just use that equation in itself, right? That's 13 cents per skip, right? However, we add so much more to the plan on top of just skip tracing. You do get to download 2,500 property records, which means the property data I showed you on the second spreadsheet, the owner information and the property characteristics, all that information, the last sale date, all that's on the property data. The skip tracing part is where you get the contact information. So they are two separate things. You get more property data than you get skip traces because we want to make sure. So sometimes there's a higher demand for those, especially for people who do the mailing list and all that. They want just the property information. So we provide
Oh,
the added value to it.
okay, so I mean, as an example, like what Eric talked about, if you want to go into, I guess, DeKalb County or something like that, and you want to get the tax delinquents, so are we charged for every single one of those properties that's downloaded? Because like, probably like 30% of it is, I mean, we wouldn't do anything with it because it's just like sort of junk property. It's like, a foot long and like that, and it probably wouldn't have like an overage or anything.
Ryan, you want to hit that one? That question in regard to the property?
Yeah. So as far as the property data is concerned, that's more or less for people that are going to be running like direct mail campaigns to reach out to these people. That's why the number is so much higher than the skip trace. Based off what Eric has kind of showed us and how you guys are going to use the site is a lot of times you're going to be uploading your own data or kind of putting in your individual skips. Is that right? Or individual property records. Is that right, Eric? Or
Yeah, so their platform, Skipify, we all know in real estate there's so many different avenues. You have wholesalers, you have land flippers, you have fix and flippers, so the property characteristics on that report might be better suited for them. But for us in this business, I think that the skip tracing and then also the pre-foreclosure information is going to be to our most benefit. Primarily
Okay.
skip tracing, but the property data that they're talking about, that 2,500 that's included, that could be something that could benefit you. But if you use this the most effectively, you're going to be uploading your list that maybe your research team or yourself is making with already our surplus guidelines where we have, the opening bid, the closing bid. We're going to supply all of our data, and then they're going to supply us the data that we need from them.
Okay. I know that whenever we have excess elite, if we go into like any particular county, if we have like the nationwide, I mean, it doesn't matter, even in Florida, we go in there, the stuff is already, the data is already skip trace, my understanding. And so what skip tracing is is that done under? Is it going to be done under this Skipify, or is it under something different? And does it also have the DNC on there?
So they use a combination of four different sites. They use Skip Matrix and been verified in True People Search, and possibly will be using Skipify as well.
Okay. And one last question is, I thought that whenever we end up skip tracing, we're trying to find the person. Um, I don't understand about the property because aren't we, I mean, won't it come up with who the current property owner is? And if they have already gone and they're already left, especially like, just say, for example, a list is, say, 4 months old. Isn't entering just the property going to pull up the current property owner and not the one that was foreclosed on?
Correct. Yeah, that's why earlier I said this is going to be for current foreclosures. Like the foreclosure we did an example on was just sold 4 days ago. So they're
Okay.
not going to update it that fast. I mentioned that you guys should be looking at things 2 months and newer. If you have anything older than 2 months, you should be putting in your own information. You should put their first name, their last name, the property address, so Skipify can know to pull the individual's name and not just do a blank pull from the property address.
Okay, so we can upload like just say 300 records on with the person's different people's names, and
Mhm.
then this will skip trace it all.
Yeah, that would be the bulk upload. That's going to be where we import our own file. So you would use that. You can use the same template that I provide in the course. I know I can make a different one for Skipify because Skipify does three relatives and three phone numbers on that side. And the one that I provide is up to five. Even though it'll still match over, I can make it really cleaned up, specific for Skipify. But you upload and then you match what columns you want. If you want to match the first name, last name, the mailing address, all of that. And then, Saad, correct me if I'm wrong, you guys give three custom fields that we're able to match, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah. So I would advise putting, if you guys are already preparing your pre list and you put the type of foreclosure, which is going to be very important. Is it a tax sale? Is it a mortgage foreclosure? And then the other two, you can put the surplus amount and then you can put the county name. And then when you get your file back, everything's easy to read. You can automatically upload that into a CRM. If you have more fields that you want to add besides the three that they give you, then
Right,
just
Eric, it's two, by the way, it's two.
oh,
So
it's two. Okay. Well, if you guys have more fields, sometimes we get, opening bid, closing bid, final sell amount, trustee information, all our other custom stuff. Basically, when you get the spreadsheet back from Skipify, you can just dump that file into the other one that already has the existing fields that you are missing, which is why I always say get the VAs guys at $5 an hour to do all this little tedious task for you.
Okay, just so I understand, if there's a current list, then what we're doing is we say go off of the property. If
Mhm.
it's as an example, in other words, I want you to skip trace off the property. Where if I'm just going to use an example, 4 months old, we would say, I want you to skip trace off of the person,
Yep.
and it will do that.
But yeah, you would have to supply them the person's name and also an address so that they can make sure they get the correct person because we don't want to get just any John Smith. We want to get John Smith in the specific area that we're looking for.
Right. Okay.
Mhm. All right, Adrian, go ahead. I think Adrian hopped off. Mike, go ahead.
Hi, good evening. Um, I apologize. I missed one little piece. Okay, when you pulled up the skip trace information, well, when you pulled up the property information, I believe, then you went and you imported it into an Excel sheet.
Yeah, automatically
Is
give.
that, is
Yeah,
that like easy to do? I was in the restroom.
no, it automatically did it. So as soon as you hit skip trace, you go to my data and it pops up. It's already in the spreadsheet for you.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, also, Eric, just a question for you. Um, Should I use just one computer for this business? Because I have like four different computers. I'm like a
Yeah.
computer guy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I use one computer. I think it's fine. I definitely do see a benefit if you have multiple monitors. I remember when I was working in the office at my financial firm, I had three monitors, and it would be good to have one screen that had the foreclosure information, one screen that had the spreadsheet, one screen that had the CRM. So it's your preference.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, Adrian, go ahead.
Okay. I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot here, but I like what I'm seeing. We've been trying a couple of different skip tracing companies, and one thing I'm kind of disappointed in is the number of phone numbers I get when I call them. You get this phone company message, this number is no longer in use or this number is disconnected. Are they all that bad, or is there anything one company might be doing better than another about that? You understand what I'm asking about?
Is the question in terms of like the accuracy of the phone number?
Yes. I mean, okay, I can understand if a number went from John to Susie, but I'm getting the skip tracing companies we've used recently. I'd say about, oh, gee, 25, maybe 30% of them. I just get this pre-recorded message from the phone company, that the this number is no longer in service or this number is no longer in
So
use.
the telemarketing and the text marketing game is a numbers game, right? So let me explain to you kind of like how we provide you up to five phone numbers, right? With phone number one being the most likely to be the per the ma- that person the number that
Okay.
person probably uses, right? That
Okay.
person might have, a whole family with the phone numbers, and we don't know which phone number they may have taken for themselves, right? But we're saying this is the most likely based on forms they filled out online, memberships they signed up for, whatever else they put their information in. We have an entire algorithm calculating what the best number is. However, we provide you five, right? So phone one, phone two, phone three, phone four, phone five. In that one person's record, out of those five phone numbers, by nature, four will be wrong. You might get those annoying tones or whatever. But again, you have to contact all the numbers from first to last, right? In order to get a hold of that correct person. But we're providing you based on probability and chance and I know our analytics, what is the most likely number that person may be using. So yes, I mean you'll get bad numbers and you'll get the further down the road you go and more go, you're gonna have less reliable numbers. However, um, we believe that our data will provide you the correct number in one of those numbers, though.
Yeah,
Sure. Yeah, I know nothing's 100%. I thought maybe, since it's being checked against a DNC list, which I'm thankful for because I don't want to get in trouble or any fines. I thought there might be some kind of other database where you can check to see if that
yeah.
number is no longer in use or is in use.
Yeah, so Adrian, there's been even other skip tracing platforms that are considered the top, like TLO, that people think is FBI grade skip tracing, and those are still inaccurate as well. When it comes to skip tracing, we really don't have any way of 100% knowing if that's going to be somebody's, accurate phone number, but you know this, it's a numbers game. We just keep contacting
Yeah.
and just
Okay.
what
So
you
it's
have.
just
Yeah.
a hazard of the job.
Yeah, welcome to surplus funds is what I always tell people. I
Okay.
made 20 calls and I didn't get anybody. Well, welcome to surplus funds.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, Felicia, go ahead.
Hey, Eric. Couple of questions. Regarding the pricing, I was just wondering, I think you said it was 14 cents per contact. So if an individual has, let's say you're John Jones, you're looking up, and he has, say, 15 relatives or 10 relatives, how is that pricing? Is it per relative or per John
Oh,
Jones?
No, it's all included. So, let's just say hypothetically you're on the most basic free plan, right? You're paying as you go. That's 15 cents. And to enable the relative option is 2/10 of a skip. So, you'll be using, let's say you bought 10 skips for 15 cents. You'll be using 1.2 skip per contact for all the relatives we have. It's not like per relative.
Okay. And then I'm currently using Skip Matrix. How would you say your pricing compare? Is it, or I don't know if you're familiar with them.
well,
I think Eric
yeah.
gets as a question, our pricing, I believe, is pretty competitive from what I
Yeah,
hear. So,
skip tracing with Skip Matrix is 15 cents, just like they are, but they don't provide the DNC, and they also have a no minimum with Skipify. So with Skip Matrix, you have to do minimum 100 files to do a report or pay the $15 minimum. And then with Skipify, you can just go, if you want to just skip trace one property, boom, it's going to charge you 15 cents or whatever add-ons that you add to it.
Okay. So right now I'm using, I have VAs and they're using Skip Matrix. So if I wanted to go over to this system, how would I connect my VAs? So because I know you had mentioned in terms of there's two, I think you said um, um, there's two categories you could use, like the name and something else.
Yeah,
Can you
so
say that again?
yeah,
Or
you
would
would
I have a different spreadsheet? Would they use a different spreadsheet?
same spreadsheet will work. So when you go here, you can go to your dashboard. You can see everything. You can do an individual search, or you can upload your file. So we go to the skip tracing, we click here, upload file, and then you would just choose your spreadsheet that you make. So then when you upload that, then you would have the fields that you would want to match over. You want to do the DNC. They would send the report to you. And then here, this is where I mentioned where we have the fields and then we have our custom fields. So we would match over first name with first name, last name with last name, property address. Pretty much all of this stuff is going to be important for this business. If you guys ever saw something like number of beds, number of bathrooms, we know that doesn't matter to us, but all of these fields matter to us. And then in the custom fields, since we have two, I would just recommend putting surplus amount and then type of foreclosure. And then they'll just confirm and then boom, it'll spit it out. It'll email you the file and then you'll also be able to download it here directly on the platform.
Okay, you said surplus amount, and what was the other one the custom
Type
field?
of, I would recommend type of foreclosure. So
Okay.
the spreadsheet that I already have for you guys in the course, it has that. So when you go here to custom field, the drop down is going to give you fields based off of your spreadsheet. So you would just click on the surplus amount, and then for custom field 2, you would click type of foreclosure.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Hey, Miranda, go ahead.
Thank you. So I have a question. If I decide to do the most basic plan and I'm, being charged per one, and I decide to do the DNC list, I think he said it was around 19 cents at that point. When it comes up for the skip tracing, is it going to just say DNC, or is it just going to have everything else and not the number? How does that work?
Yeah, it shows DNC, so I can let me pull up the one. It has a checkbox for DNC and it'll say Y or N, yes or no.
Okay, perfect. And then if I decide like one day I might have a list, one day I might have one or two. If I have the one or two, is it going to be easy to add them to the spreadsheet on that platform, or is it going to just stay singular?
You're talking about for the DNC?
Nope. So if I use this and then I have a list of people that I want them to scrub, and then they scrub them and it comes back, with my list. Let's say there's 15 people on there, but then 2 days later, I want to add two more people. Can I add them to that same spreadsheet, or are those two people going to be on an individual spreadsheet?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm not sure.
Sure. From what I understand, and you'll be placing a separate order, so they will be on a separate outputted spreadsheet, but
Okay.
every output is the same format. So if you're keeping your own spreadsheet, you can always copy paste the new
And
records
import
on.
it.
Yeah, it's not
Okay.
a problem because they're all the same format.
Okay. Thank you.
So here, guys, here's an example of a spreadsheet that was spit out from the skip trace. So we have their first name, last name, we have their mailing address. And for those who work California, this is huge because we know California, if you guys are pulling leads from Bid for Assets or you're using auction.com for the non-judicial, we have to do second to third layers of research. We got to take the APN, we got to go and search, then we got to get the address, then we have to use probably Property Radar or ownerly.com to figure out who the owner is. When on Skipify, all we have to do is plug in the address and then boom, we have the ownership information. So here they're telling us about the foreclosure information. We have here this person's 37, so most likely that phone number is accurate. The C's no, DNC litigator, yes. So this would be on the DNC list. And then it shows the phone numbers, the type of phones. So in this scenario, if I know that somebody's on the DNC list, that would prompt me, hey, send them a mailer, search them on social media, send them an email. Those are other things. Now, if you guys just say, hey, I'm going to play my cards. I'm still going to message them, which is something that's not necessarily a bad thing. You just have to know your risk whenever you go into something. I will talk to you guys about certain messages that you could send. In my opinion, if you're going to message somebody on the DNC, I would prefer you guys just saying, hello, is this their name? That's strictly it. Don't talk to them about services. Don't try to, put your website. Hello, is this, boom, their first name. And that's the risk that you're going into. But if they respond back, yes, it's them, now you can decide if you want to proceed with the marketing them. But this is extremely important, being able to determine if somebody is on that DNC list. All right, Pat, go ahead. Hey, Pat, I'm sorry, I can't really hear you. I don't know if you want to get closer to your microphone.
Okay, is this better? Can you hear me better?
Not really. It sounds like you're far from your microphone, or maybe something's covering it up. Is something above your computer microphone?
Yeah, yeah. Let me open it up a little bit. Let me see if this is better. Can you
Okay.
hear me better now?
Yeah, I can hear you now. Yes.
Can you hear me better at all?
Yes, ma'am, I can hear you now.
Come back to me. Would you come back
No,
to
I
me?
can hear you. I can hear you. Yes, yes, we can hear you just fine now. You're good, Pat. We can hear you. You can go ahead.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay. So on the third party transfer, so so even if you work in California, we've got a lot of regulations in California about not contacting people for so many days. But I'm wondering how how accurate is the um, is the addresses?
Well, that you're gonna know the address from, working bid for assets or auction.com. So address should never be an accuracy thing. You should always know the address. Yeah, I'm not sure if something's wrong with your microphone, but we'll come back to you, Pat, because I can't hear you now. Hey, Greg, go ahead.
Hey, Eric. Quick question. The DNC, is that more of a telephone thing or is that also with mailers as well?
You can send mailers. So DNC is going to be a call, a text, and a voicemail.
Okay. All right. Thanks. One other quick question. Does this system, Spotify, have anything to do with the showing lean information?
So you'll have to still do your own due diligence. It does
Okay.
not show the lien information.
All right. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Hey, Desmond, go ahead.
Yes. My question was not about Skipify. Uh, to me, this is pretty self-explanatory. You guys did a great job of explaining it. I wanted to, I had somebody that reached back out to me from an automation, and I sent a couple emails. I'm trying to figure out how to get the proof to send to her because she asked me to call at 4. I called, she didn't answer, and I saw on the training you did on the Loom video you sent out a text message and you had proof. Well, I don't have the any of the things hearted from auction.com.
What was this from the recent Texas or Georgia sale?
Yes,
Okay.
she's
Yeah,
number.
shoot me an email. MoneymakingJuggernaut@gmail.com. I have the screenshots. I can send that over to you.
Okay, I shot you one earlier today,
Okay.
so I'll
I
just
was
wait on you
I
to
was
reply
flying
to it.
all day. I literally came right into this meeting. So
Oh no, I figured. I just
check
knew
it
it was
later.
the Q&A today, so you're good. Okay.
Okay. I'll get that over.
Oh, And question, do you send just that one or do you send all of the ones? Because I bought the list from you from the January 7th, 2025 list.
If you have older ones, just send me the address. I can send it to the research team and see if we have the email showing the sale results.
Okay, so I'll have to do them case by case.
Yeah, you have to email me based on the email because I don't have a file with all the screenshots. I take the address, I go to my inbox, I search, I pull the sales, take a screenshot and send it over.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, perfect. Thank
Yeah,
you.
you're welcome. Van, go ahead.
Yes, my question is if they list only the partial number, can Skipify skip trace?
That's a good
Because
question.
some tax did in my state they list only the partial number
The parcel
and
number,
subload fund amount.
the APN number.
Yes.
Ryan, can we search by APN number on our site or no? We could probably enable it if we need to, but
We could probably enable it, but right now we can't.
yeah, right now it's not possible, but if that's a request, we can easily enable it. It's not a problem at all.
Okay, thank you.
Hey,
Another question, Eric.
oh,
I'm
yeah.
not sure if you're aware, but the list you sent me yesterday, I submitted to Access Elite to upload it, and then the first three time they did it wrong. They uploaded without phone number, and I called them this morning. They try to fix it for me, but they say the system is still. They are working on fixing the system.
Okay. Well, it sounds like saying that they're working on the system, so just keep following up with them and they'll take care of it.
Okay. Yeah, just want to let you know
Okay.
in case someone else had the same problem.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, George.
Hey, a couple of questions. One is once we finish skip tracing, is there anything else that we need to do to upload the list that's been skip traced into Excess Elite?
So your VAs would either upload it or you would go to Access Elite and just go to the lead upload feature and then they'll upload it for you.
Okay, and it'll be, in other words, is there anything that we're going to need to do to the list in order to be able to upload it so everything uploads properly?
No, because on Access Elite, whenever you upload your CSV file or Excel spreadsheet, just like Skipify is going to ask you to match, you're going to be matching columns. So
Okay,
that's part of the work that either your VA or Access Elite will do for you, or yourself, which if you're not really tech savvy, I don't, or just time consuming. It takes a lot of time to go upload, select each.
right,
That's what we hire
right.
people to do. Yeah.
Okay, now one last question. If we sign up for a plan, like as an example, the basic light or just the basic, and it comes with so many skip traces, I take it that's a month. But if we don't use that number of skip traces a month, do we lose it or does it carry over to next month?
It carries over, absolutely. They never expire.
Oh, that's good.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Yeah, so if you guys are somebody that's doing like volume, if you think that you're skipping, 700 plus, 800, 1,000, something like that, then I would recommend the higher monthly subscriptions because you're going to get it cheaper. But if you're somebody that, just wants to test it out or just see how it is, they don't have a minimum, so it's definitely beneficial to that. But once you guys start doing business, if you're scaling or you're just doing high volume, I always tell you guys we want to have anywhere between 150 to 200 properties each week. So if we do that times four, you're going to hit like that 800 range. So as you guys go through, it might make sense for you to get the higher level because you're going to get a discount. But that's all going to be with time, once you try the platform out. Like I said, I've had a great experience with it. Key points, DNC, number one, gonna save you guys a lot of stress. Number two, the quickness, the speed delivery, and the skip tracing. The pricing is amazing. And then also the data that we're getting. So I've seen the accuracy. Like I said, there's no skip tracing platform out there that we're going to call and then boom, we get the number. Because if that was the case, I probably wouldn't even tell you guys. No, I'm a nice guy. I would still tell you, but I could just hoard up all the leads, hire the biggest call center in the world, and know that, hey, I got a phone number automatic for this one. Let's call them and get them. And even if that was the case, you guys know that when we communicate with these people, it's all about who's on the other side of that phone and if they connect with you. So we have probably time for one or two more questions because we're getting close to the end of the hour. So if you guys have questions specific for Skipify, go ahead and ask.
Can I ask just a couple more? Is there a tutorial on how to use this as part of the system? And also, if we need help or assistance when we're using it in any way, how do we go about getting that with Skipify?
Yeah. Hey, hey there, George. You can reach out to us via our website. We have a chat link on there. We also have a contact us page in which you can just fill out the form and then send us an email on any questions that you have. And we'll be in touch with you that way via email. We could even hop on a quick screen share call with you to help out in any way that's
Do you
needed.
have some tutorial videos that walk us through, like, sort of, hey, just for brand new people that have never used anything like this, on part of your site?
Yes, we do. I'll drop a couple of those links here in the chat. And then
Right.
we also on our website and YouTube channel have all of those, getting started. If there's
Great.
specific videos that are needed that you don't see on there that you need guidance on and for us to show you
Okay.
how, you can request those and we'll go ahead and create them for you.
Hey, thank you very much for all the information today. Thank you.
And I'll
Of course.
also make you guys a tutorial video on how to use Skipify, not only with the Excess Funds business, but also Excess Elite. So taking it, getting the results, and then plunging it into the CRM. I'll make a tutorial video on that. Not going to be tomorrow, but I just wrote that down. It's going to be on my to-do list.
Thank you, Eric.
You're welcome. Hey, Judy, go ahead. We'll take the last question.
Hey, did I miss something? Is there an extra charge for it to be on the do not call list?
Yeah, it's
Yes,
1/10
it's
of
just
a
a tenth of a skip, so.
Okay. And then are you going to do a meeting on the VAs on Thursday?
A meeting
You
on
talk-
the VAs? No.
City, you had said that a couple last week.
For
How to work with VAs, you were saying.
Yeah, how to work with a VA.
oh, this Thursday we can do that. Yeah, that's gonna be how to get the most out of your staff when using VA.
Okay,
Yeah. Yeah,
would
thank
be
you.
great. Thank you. I appreciate both of you guys.
Just I'm sorry, real quick note. I noticed in the chat somebody referenced an old email for Eric, the overage overflow. I think we're not using that anymore.
Yes, thank you. I didn't see that. It's money making juggernaut, guys. Money making juggernaut at gmail.com. Thank you, Will.
I have
Yep.
one quick question.
Yes.
I just wanted to find out now. She's saying something about VA. Is that Veterans Administration or is that VA meaning something else?
A virtual assistant.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Hey, Felicia, go ahead.
Yeah, quick question. When you were sharing the screen, I thought there was something about signing up for the skip tracing. And I thought I saw that there was no credit card, or how does the payment work for this system?
I can answer that question. So basically, to sign up for an account, you don't need a credit card, but in order to purchase skips, you will need to have a credit card on file. So if you just go to if you log in, if you have time, Eric, I can share my screen.
Yeah,
And
go ahead.
where to go. So if you just go to your dashboard, on the left-hand side is a billing tab. And you just go to payment methods. And before you start skip tracing, make sure you have a payment method on file. And if you want to add skips, you can add skips through this interface right here. So you go to payment method, you go to add skips, or you can just go to my data and upload your own data. But you have to have a payment method on file in order to start skipping.
Okay, so there's like no, I think you said it before, there's no minimum or anything, whether you're doing 10 or 100, you're just gonna bill accordingly.
That's correct, yes.
Okay, good. Thank you.
All right, guys. Well, this has been a good call. I hope you guys can see the value and most importantly, test the value at. You guys are going to have a good experience using it. And if you guys have any questions, you can email them, you can contact them. And then
Eric, you have your personal link as well too, I believe. Should I share that again or
yeah, personal link, guys. When I upload the replay, I'll also share that. I'll be uploading this on YouTube, and in the comment section, I'll have the link to sign up as well. All right, guys. So on Thursday, yes, we will be doing that training. For those who are interested in the 12-week program, that will be beginning on Monday as well. So you can reach out to me if you're interested in that. And other than that, I hope you guys have a great night. Thank you for attending.